Okay, I think we are going to go live here in 2 seconds with YouTube.
Yep.
Oh, you guys can't see my screen yet, can you?
And it says meeting is now streaming.
There we go. So, okay, here we go. Live here in 2 seconds with YouTube. Let's just mute that puppy down there. So, welcome everybody. Super excited to get together tonight. We are going to talk about 7 ways to increase cash flow in your business. And I am going to hit the record button on this. We'll record it up in the cloud so that we'll send it out afterwards. And we're going to share the screen here. And let's see if we can do this in a way that makes the most sense here. View, slideshow. Here we go. How are we doing? Do we all see the screen that says cash flow on it? Stu, yep. Shanta, Marcy. Okay, awesome. So tonight we are going to, Gabriella, you already have your hand raised.
That was not intentional.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Okay, so you guys, here's the thing. For business, one of the things as a business investor and advisor, I get asked all the time is, how do I increase the profitability or the cash flow of my business? And this presentation is really designed to help not so much give you so much in-depth what to do's, but some general overall concepts. And so I want to kind of present this from a point of view of, we're going to go through 7 of them. Not going to take too long. We'll have time for questions and answers afterwards. But I really want you to get your juices rolling. This works if you've got a pizza company, if you've got I'm looking at Stu. Stu is kind of our keto master. So I say pizza because, it's just, I'm just jabbing it in because he probably can't have kind of pizza that I might have, but he's got amazing keto. So Stu's got a great keto group on Facebook, by the way. So this works for pretty much any type of business. Out of the 7 things here, I cannot think of a single business that can't add at least 2 of these, okay? So you probably may not look at all 7, but for a couple of them, it'll make perfect sense. So Ryan, anything I forgot before we get started?
No, I think you positioned it perfect. And like you said, we're kind of just scratching the surface of these things. There's a lot of depth that you can really, each of these concepts you can really dive into and kind of spin off of. But these are going to be all practical, proven methods for any small business could implement one or multiple to what we're talking about, increase the cash flow. So take it away, Case.
Awesome. And let me just set the scene. There's nothing really for you to buy. At the end of this, we're going to say, hey, we've got a free trial of something we kind of think is cool and you can go try it. And if you want to have a conversation about increasing the revenue in your business, then I'll invite you to schedule a chat with me one-on-one, and it'll be Ryan or I that handles the call. And we'll share that at the end. But I don't want you to think there's some big pitch at the end of this. We're not trying to sell anything. This is really our give back, our way to bring value to the business community, both in Expand the Business Facebook group, as well as our meetup portfolios. So here we rock and roll. So 7 strategies to increase cash flow in your business. And we're just going to kind of rock it straight through here and go from top to bottom. So let's see here. Okay, there we go. So would your business benefit from a higher rate of cash flow? And I think all businesses would definitely benefit from a higher rate of cash flow. Now, notice that it doesn't say profit. It doesn't even say revenue. It really is focused on cash flow. The oxygen in all businesses really comes down to cash flow. How many dollars do you have coming in that are free that you can move to turnover over and over and over again? And that's really what we're going to talk about when we talk about cash flow tonight. So is it possible to increase your cash flow if we deploy a multi-pronged strategy approach, right? Now, I'm going to say several of you on here work with me in our Platinum Inner Circle program. So I will say that for me, I hear things like, oh, there are riches in the niches, or focus on one thing, focus until you got, and I'm just a believer that if you expand the business, you expand the revenue, you expand your network, all of that plays into, and we should always be testing all kinds of new things take what you like, and then you get rid of what doesn't work. And then we can massage those overall. So number one, super easy. Decreasing your spending is an instant way for you to increase the cash flow that your business has available to do inventory purchases, equipment purchases, tools, systems, processes. Maybe you need to hire a virtual assistant. Maybe you need to hire an assistant. Maybe there's a staff member. But you can literally, number one, decrease your spending. Now, each one of these slides, we kind of have a second slide that says, kind of give some ideas, and then we'll kind of talk about it. So the first step to implementing this strategy is to carefully analyze all of your spending. How much are you offering suppliers? Do you audit your electric bills every month? This may seem something silly, but you know, Ryan and I used to have an office, and we realized that if we just turned the lights off when we were done for the day, we were saving between $2 and $3 a day, because it was a big office and we were kind of lazy when we were doing this, and they had lots of equipment in there. But if we just literally shut the breakers down over the weekend, shut the breakers down at the end of the night, we were able to save quite a little bit of money. And are we looking at your insurances? I recommend to all of our clients should be looking at things like their insurance once a month or once a quarter. Certainly once every 6 months, your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your renter's insurance if you're in a building, right? All of those insurances can change literally for no reason in a 6 month period, right? Now, after analyzing all this spending, you can look for areas to be reduced. Now, I am going to caution you that there are sometimes people focus so much and so heavy on this that they lose sight of the real business. So I'm going to caution you that don't get so analyzed, don't get so deep into the weeds in this that we actually lose the side on the revenue generating, right? You start to cut out for employees, you might find yourself with the employees that are leaving, okay?
Can I just add something to this, Casey?
Yeah.
Because I know we have a lot of solopreneurs on this call and that kind of are in our community. And I think it is huge not to just overlook this thing of like, oh, reduce cost but the audit, like auditing your business and even these areas are super important and really keeps you in control. You are the puppet master of the business, right? You're not having anybody else pulling the strings. So it is very important for us to keep it as a planned schedule almost. Hey, it's time for my kind of audit. And I know Casey did this, and I remember seeing this years ago, and I was just like, I'm not even doing that. Why am I not doing this, right? And I can tell you that it's not every single audit that you'll find one, but even if you do one and then you just find a little here, a little there, I mean, it does add up. So especially, all small business, but even the small solopreneurs, huge in finding those little, gems in some of the things you already have.
Yeah, and let me give you an example, because I see Shanta here and Marcy here, and both of them may have the need to send out documents via the postal service, right? Marcy does financial services, so if you need money for your business, Marcy's the gal to talk to. If you want to travel the world and see it in an amazing experiential way, Shanta's the way you want to reach out to Shanta, right? Well, they may send stuff out. Well, there could be a $6, $7, $10 difference between sending documents DHL versus FedEx. You might have a 2-day UPS ground that saves $10 a document. Well, if you've got 1,000 clients over the course of a year, that's $1,000 a month extra free cash flow just by auditing how we're shipping stuff out, right? So that's what we really mean by auditing. Okay.
And things change too. Prices increase, so you got to make sure that you're aware of if a company did make a little price increase, during those audits, you're well aware of it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of know your numbers, 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 know your numbers. And if you don't know your numbers and then you go talk to Marcy Green, you know what she's going to tell you? Go get to know your numbers, right? So number 2 is extend discounts for fast payments. right? Now, I recognize that some businesses work easier in this and than others. But if you're trying to encourage your customers to pay faster to increase your cash flow, then you could call your offer customers that owe you money and even offer them a discount to close them out, right? So we've done this in almost every business that I've run or I've invested in. We put in this program, whereas if we, for example, if we have people that are past due, we may call them on the phone and say, hey, Melody, we can give you a discount if you want to go ahead and get that closed out. And sometimes just that 1 or 2 percentage point actually have somebody respond that they may not have otherwise, right? Okay, so the discount doesn't have to be large, 1 or 2%, but they might appreciate making a little saving a little bit. And if you have several payment plans with different discount levels, you can reach more clients, right? So, one thing that we do for our Platinum Inner Circle members is we have a couple of different payment options, because some people just want to pay it all up front. And in exchange for paying it up front, they get a discount. Some people want to make payments. There's a little bit more hassle involved, so they ended up paying a little bit more over time, right? And you can do that as well. Okay. Number 3, watch your inventory. And I know Marcy Green, when she's talking to companies and manufacturing companies, this comes into play a lot when you start looking for bank loans and creating cash flow, is watch your inventory. Are you investing too high of a percentage of your cash into inventory? And I'll give you a small example of this. My dad was a veterinarian before he retired. And one time we went to a vet conference, and a Frontline, which is a flea and tick removal. I think it's a little thing that you put on the back of the critter's neck, and it kills fleas and ticks for a long time. Well, they were having a special that if he bought a 40-foot container of this stuff, he could get it for way less money. Well, what we did was it worked for him in that case, because what he did was he went to all of his buddies and we sold off parts of that container car so that he got his for free. Essentially what we did was we sold it off at a little bit higher than what we were paying for it. Everybody got a discount. Was it a hassle? Yes. But for him, it was worth it because it freed up cash flow for him in his inventory purchases. So if you're buying inventory, obviously you don't want to buy too much. You obviously do not want to buy too little. And obviously in today's marketplace, if you watch the news literally in the last couple of months, you will know that literally off the coast of Los Angeles, I think there are something like 86 cargo container ships just hanging out there waiting to come into port. So for example, if you are buying for your Christmas season, or you're buying for the spring or the winter or the summer, you could probably purchase some of that inventory a season or 2 ahead of time and get a deeper discount to free up some cash flow when the sales come in. And then you might do something like factoring it, or you might do something where you're taking on some extra cash flow inside of that. Now, inventory is usually the lifeline of most small businesses, but you don't want to wait to destroy. You don't want it to destroy your cash flow. The boxes of shirts and candles and other items you sell shouldn't sit in warehouses for decades. Now, I'll give you an example, and we're going to talk about this particular. I didn't even think about this while we were doing this, but now that I'm thinking about it, lots of companies buy promotional products, right? So you buy 144 mugs, you buy 300 t-shirts, you buy 2,212 stress balls with your logo on it. You've got all of that, and then now you have no way to give it out, right? Well, we're going to show you a service at the end where you can literally do that one at a time, so you don't get stuck with a bunch of inventory that you can't get rid of later on. In fact, when I go into a business and they bring me in to sort of consult with them or advise them, one of the first things that we do is we go into their back room and I look at all of the inventory that's been sitting there that the owner is hoarding because they have some brilliant concept that they think they're going to sell it when they get around to it. So one of the things that we do very often is walk right in and I go, look, let's just sell this stuff for pennies on the dollar so we can get the cash out of it and then deploy that cash or that capital somewhere else really quickly, right? I consulted for a sewing company, a manufacturing company once, and they had, this was after 9/11, and they had literally millions of those American flags that you stuck in your car windows. I don't know if you remember those. Everybody in town was running around with them. And they were just holding on to them long after 9/11, thinking they were going to sell them on some, I don't even know when. And so we just started blowing them out, and we ended up recouping tens of thousands of dollars. They lost money on it, but we basically converted that inventory to cash that we could then deploy. Right? So want to be very conscientious of that. You want to be able to find that balance of having enough inventory to satisfy your customer needs and then having too much. Now, we won't get too into it, but you know, when I work with a lot of restaurants, especially like pizza shops, this is a one that we kind of come into a lot. When you're dealing with fresh food and fresh vegetables and fresh things that can rot, we better have a plan, right? So we don't want to have too much of that on hand, because then it goes into shrinkage or waste. And that is no good, as I can imagine that you know. Okay. So look, let's go number 4. Raise your prices. Raise your prices. Now, here's the thing. Think about simple math, right? And I'm gonna use a hair salon as an example, right? Let's say a hair salon is booked solid, and they're cutting hair, permanent hair, dyeing hair, cutting hair, permanent hair, dyeing, cutting, curling, whatever, right? Well, here's the reality. You could literally walk in one day and double your prices across the board. And so long as you don't lose 50% of your customers, you're money ahead. Right? So if we have 10 clients, we shrink them to 5, but we doubled the pricing and we've only lost 5, we're even Steven. Now every additional client we have is one additional unit of cash flow. Ryan, anything you want to add on that one?
No, I think it feels like when we hear this, we see this, and I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I could, right? But I feel like when the person actually does and they see the result, it's almost across the board. I've seen, why haven't I done that a long time ago, right? And it's a lot of the things that are just in our head, and it's our own thoughts of that's hindering us from raising a price, instead of what all businesses truly should be listening to is the marketplace. The marketplace is the only voice in a business's head that you should be listening to, because they tell you and determine your price. So if you raise your price and nobody buys, you rose it too high. You know, like you said, if we rose the price when we had 100% booked and we went to 75%, you're still money out ahead. You're still good. You know, you should, that's a great strategic move. And so I think that we shouldn't just glaze over this. And it's truly, like I said, it's about the marketplace determining those price factors, not you.
And you know, I'll use myself as an example. When I started our Platinum Inner Circle program, we were at one price, and we kept it at that price for quite a while. And I had to get really comfortable in raising the investment, and we more than doubled it. Right? And I was so nervous. I thought everyone's going to leave. No one's going to join. It's going to be terrible. And you know what happened? We had more people join us. And I believe now in retrospect that it was because people didn't even see the value when we were charging so little for it. But once we raised the price at the investment, people felt it was more valuable, right? And we added some more value in it. And we're getting ready to literally more than double the price of it. And double the investment of our Platinum Inner Circle. And that comes with me as the guy kind of in charge of this, going, okay, what are we going to add to that? How are we going to justify it? And I'm aware we're going to lose some people. No question, right? But I'm also aware that there's a whole group of people out there right now that think when they hear our price, go, it can't be that good if it's that low. Right? So this is a really important conversation to have with your team, with your CEO, your COO, your CMOs, all your folks. This raising of the price thing is really valuable. Okay. It can lead to more cash flow, but it can also scare away people, right? And that's okay. It's okay. Because those customers, most likely are kind of your pains in the butt, right? So number 5, this is my all-time favorite thing. Ryan has heard me talk about this with so many businesses. We talk about it in our Platinum Inner Circle quite a bit. I almost bring it up on every strategy call I have. And that is, do you have something, a product or a service that we could put on a monthly subscription, right? Do we have something that we could create a subscription, a pizza of the month club? I used to own a craft beer house, and we had a craft beer of the month. We had a growler of the month club where they paid us a small fee and we gave them a growler, which is, if you're not a beer drinker, you probably don't know what a growler is. I didn't for a long time, but a growler is almost like a deep, deep, dark brown bottle. It looks like probably about a half gallon or a gallon. And it's dark brown because we don't want the sun to get in there because it ruins the flavor of the beer, which is why they're always dark brown. But create a month, something of the month club, right? I have a client right now in our Platinum group, and she runs a wellness center here in Los Angeles. And she has a massage of the month club, right? So her clients can get on a monthly subscription for a massage. She gets that cash flow. And in this, we set it up where it's use it or lose it. So if Marcy is a customer, Marcy's getting her massage of the month. What happens? Marcy can't do it. She loses it at the end of the month. But here's the cool thing. Marcy can give it to one of her friends. And the reason we want Marcy to, and encourage Marcy to give it to one of her friends, would, let's say she gives it to Rhonda, right? Well, now Rhonda comes in. We knew we were going to have to deliver on the massage in the first place, but now we have the opportunity to serve Rhonda. And then we hope that we can turn Rhonda into a lifelong customer and a raving fan as well, right? So a lot of times in restaurants, you see they'll do coupons and they'll say, hey, come in for a free drink on a Tuesday in a month that ends with L between the hours of 4 p.m. and 4:01 p.m. And you must be wearing a mini skirt and a wig in order to get this. And then it's like, oh my gosh. So when we do these subscription things, remember, we're looking at it from a cash flow perspective, right? And we're also looking at it as the opportunity to serve the network of somebody if they can't use it. So my recommendation is always to keep the fine print to as little as possible. If you own a restaurant and you're going to give a free soda away with a purchase, just give a frickin' soda away for a free purchase, right? Don't make me work that hard, right? Because if I want to work that hard, every element of work that we have to go through, it will be a certain percentage of people that will just not redeem the service. Okay.
I got 2 things to add to this. One, we just talked about on the previous slide, increasing prices. Well, when you do increase your price, there is a great strategy when doing that if you offer the subscription service, because what happens is you don't lose someone, right? You're not giving them the whole thing right then and there, but they get a taste of it for the subscription. Now, I know this isn't going to fit everybody's business model, but it can be a great way for you not to lose that customer. They can still get access to premium content or services, yet you get them into the subscription. And a lot of customers, it's been proven and tested that when you have those options, there's going to be a very small percentages of customers that just want the platinum deal. They're going for the top, and then we are allowing them, they still want that platinum top shelf product, yet we give them tastes of it through monthly subscriptions. So hopefully that kind of makes sense with that. But if you are raising a price, you may want to, if practical, to be able to also add a subscription service in the same time, or test them, right? But that's what's letting us know, and you don't lose customers as well. You give them options. We all want options these days. Not too many, but a couple of options. Second thing to add, so if we are doing services like Stu, he has a Facebook group. say 17,000 people in it.
No. 78,000 people.
Okay, so let's do some quick math right here, okay? If we had 78,000 people, and then we went to that 78,000 person Facebook group and say, hey, we just created a super exclusive keto community that I want the top ranking keto masters in, right? You're going to 78,000 people, okay? Say we only got 10% to say yes. That means 90% failure rate. That 90% said no, but we had 10%. You have 7,800 people. If you charge $10 a month for a subscription service just to be a part of that exclusive Keto Master group, he has just increased his cash flow by what? 7,800 times 10? Am I looking at 78,000?
Yep.
Is that a fun number to be playing around? Has my cash flow just increased dramatically overnight? Say if it was $1. I don't think it'd be smart to do $1 because you're seriously depressing the value of it. But I'm just giving you these numbers, and these are the things that you can do so easy. We don't have to create all these, like you can use a Facebook group as a subscription service. They can PayPal you some dollars. Don't make it expensive, but that right there should be eye-opening to saying, hey, like, how can we get into some of these ideas? So those are my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, so let's just go back to Stu for a second, because he has this great keto group. And, let's say he's like, you know what? I don't want to do another Facebook group. There's lots of management. I don't know if Facebook has shut me down. There's a company out there called Patreon. And Patreon, you can set up little subscriptions there from $5 to whatever. And then you bring people over and you give them exclusive content. So, maybe Stu has a special cook that he brings in that's going to cook a special keto recipe that's been posted in that group. And you get access to that coach and you do it as a cooking lesson once a month. And he charges $10 or $20 for that. He's got the base of those customers, brings them over into something like a Patreon, and it's an instant monetization. Now, here's the thing. You go, well, how many people really need to do that? Well, it doesn't take a whole lot. There are people that price shop that are not going to take him up on that offer, right? There are also guys like me that I don't really price shop. If I want that shirt that Ryan's wearing, I'm going to buy the shirt that Ryan's wearing. If I want to go on a cruise, right? And by the way, Shanta is doing a fantastic entrepreneur cruise in April of next year. Love to have you guys come. You'll hear more about it in our community. But she says, Casey, what cabin do you want? I just want the top cabin. Like, I'm just not a price shopper, right? I have friends that have made it a game to see if they can save as many pennies as possible. And that's super cool. We need to serve both sets of those and everybody in between, right? I mean, I have friends that are like, they'll search 17 hours on every website possible, and then they want to know if Rakuten gives them cash back, and then they'll wait for Rakuten to give them double cash back. Then they'll try to find it, and all of it is like, oh my gosh, the $17 that you saved. I just went and had an iced venti soy latte at Starbucks with 2 pastries.
Well, now the caveat to that, Casey, is take you as an example, okay? Casey has a following that he has some serious fans, right? Where he has a big Facebook group and he can go there and say, hey, I got this exclusive community. And frankly, it doesn't matter what he's saying or selling. We just have buyers, right? Because he is nurtured and put so much value and time into his community, and that he's given so much value to them that the things that he's done has worked for them. So he has his following. And if he says, hey, go here, do this, buy this, it's $10, they might not even ever use the service, but they're going to go over there and they're going to give them the $10. They'll put a subscription in. So it does have to do, everything's full circle. But if you're doing the things right, you're treating your customers the way that you're supposed to, I mean, this stuff can fall into place very, very easily.
Yeah, and here's the thing, to Ryan's point, it's all about giving value to our customers. I look at all customers, regardless of where they fall on any spectrum, whether it's all the way from free to a consulting client. I always remember in the back of my head that these folks are out there in the marketplace working their butt off to be able to invest in themselves or invest in whatever our product or service is. So I never want you to lose sight of being able to treat your customers amazing, because they're out working their butt off to buy your product and be able to derive the value from that. Okay. Number 6, this is by far and away for me the easiest one for 99% of businesses. We call it bolt-on programs. Okay. And bolt-on programs are just other companies or third-party companies that will do all the work. All we have to do is join them, promote them to our customers, and then from those customers, the third party is actually going to pay us. We don't have to cover inventory. We don't have to cover credit card processing or insurance or warehousing or anything. And so long as these bolt-on programs are things that your customer can value from, it's awesome. Because what if, for example, and I'm going to use Marcy as an example because she's right in front of me here on the screen, right? Marcy Green from C Green from Natural. She sells money, right? If you have a small business or a business that needs money for equipment or leasing or real estate or investing in a new employee, all kinds of programs, you're going to go to Marcy, right? But let's, for example, say you go to Marcy and Marcy's going to run your credit and she goes, yeah, but Gabriella, your credit is terrible. Your credit score is 306, right? Well, Marcy could have a bolt-on program where she has partnered with a credit repair agency or a credit agency. And now she can say to Gabriella, hey, you're not quite the right fit, or we got to get this a little bit cleaned up before we bring you in. So let me bring you over to this outside service that can help get the credit score back and clean it all up, right? Marcy's not doing anything but recommending an outside service that helps her customer, in this case, Gabriella, right? Gabriella does these great parties. You guys got to connect with her. She's all over the place. Gab Talks. I think it's gabtalks.com, isn't it? Yeah. So, and she's not in this situation. She's just right in front of me. And I saw her daughter, Linda, hugging her. So I got a chance to work them into the conversation, right? But in this case, Marcy's going to get paid a little bit of money from this credit agency, and she doesn't have to do any of the work, right? So here's what's really cool. It gives us the ability to serve our potential customers in a way that may not work, that they may not need just for us, right? So the other thing is, let's say, let's use another example. Somebody owns a restaurant, right? Well, maybe that restaurant is a pizza shop. Well, we know that people love pizza, right? So maybe they work a bolt-on program with somebody that has a really cool pizza cutter. I'm just making this up, or a pizza board or a keto. Maybe they want keto recipes on making pizza, and they can partner with someone like Stu. Or there's a pizza stone where you can get this pizza stone. There's all kinds of additional things. So we don't want you to get too focused like, oh, well, if I don't serve it myself, or I don't serve this to my customers myself. Your customers are out buying stuff all over the place 24 hours a day, right? Even if it's as simple as sending them over to Amazon to buy something. You send them to Amazon, they buy something, guess what? You get paid.
So also to this, so those we talk about the complementing services or products that appeal. I really like using this strategy when I'm picking one of these third-party situations of a product that obviously doesn't compete with my direct product, but could actually be used as a lead generation tool also. So I could be out there in the marketplace, and instead of just constantly every single day, because the gurus are telling me to be on Facebook 24 hours a day, so I'm 24 hours a day, hey, go buy this, go to my site. Well, hey, let's switch it up a little bit, right? We can say, hey, this awesome deal over here, I've just used this product and it's fabulous. They may not even understand that it's something that you're selling. You're just saying, hey, this is an awesome tool. they see it and could see the value in it, they're buying it. You know that they interacted with that tool. Remember, we're only picking that tool because it complements your service, right? So you understand that any buyer of this tool, this third-party company tool that we're selling, anybody who buys that would be a perfect customer for you. Well, that's almost just like a lead generation tool. And you got cash flow coming from it, right? So it's almost a self-sufficient lead generation tool that actually gets a little bit of money, but that's not our whole bread and butter. That's not everything. It's just adding to, and it's not an expense, right? So it's more of a credit rather than a debit.
Exactly. So for example, I love tools that help our customers save time or make more money, right? If I'm going to bolt on something into our business, it has to meet one of those two requirements. It either has to save somebody gobs of time or makes them way more money. Well, since these are bolt-on programs, I use them all myself. And because I refer it to people and recommend it to people because I think it's really cool and it helps them do two things, save time or make more money, I get paid a little cut of the action. I have multiple bolt-on programs that I make between $3,000 and $5,000 a month from, just simply because I think they're cool and I refer them to my friends that are my customers, right? So one of the easy ones that we love is called mailcustomgifts.com. Okay, and this is a bolt-on service. It's a program that you can use yourself in your own business, and it literally will allow you to create a one-off promotional product in a one minimum environment. You can send postcards, you can send greeting cards. I used this tool and I sent Marcy this really cool thing for her birthday. It was this really cool dish. And on the top of it, we had it laser engraved that said Marcy's Treasure, right? I didn't have to buy 30 of them. There, she's holding it up if you can see her. I didn't have to buy 30 of them or 60 of them. I got to buy one, right? And it integrates with whatever platform you're already working with. If you're using Salesforce, if you're using Waze, if you're using Close, if you're using Top Producer, any of the CRM systems, we can pretty much integrate it in, or it can run as a standalone. So look, remember I said when we started this, we weren't going to ask for your credit card, but we were going to give you an opportunity to check out something for 14 days. This is it. So here's how this will work. There's a 14-day trial. You have to put in like $10 on your credit card, but it's super easy to cancel. And just cancel the $10 out. It's only if you mail something out. So here's what we decided to do. If you want to try this and you have on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 1 to 10. Okay. Go sign up for a free trial at mailcustomgifts.com. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. Number one, we're going to send you a box of brownies so you can taste some really cool brownies. And number two, I'm going to actually out of pocket have my onboarder. We'll set up some time and we'll walk through the entire program. There is zero pressure, zero obligation. That is all on me. It's all my money that I'm investing in, but this is why I love this tool. Okay. So if you're not interested, here's the thing, super easy. Don't go set up a free trial. Very easy. If you're interested from a 1 to 10, it's free, for crying out loud. Go set up a trial. We'll contact you. If it's not for you, there's a ginormous button there. You don't have to call customer service. You don't have to do anything except hit a giant button and it will cancel out and it'll put your $10 back on your credit card. Okay, super easy. It's just one of our favorite bolt-on programs. And here's what I'm going to just tell you. If you like the tool and you use it in your own business, bolt it on your own business. Refer it to your friends. Your customers are going to love it. Marcy is a customer of mine. She got this really cool thing. She could go, oh my gosh, Case, this would work really awesome for my customers, right? She could use this right as a bolt-on. In fact, I think she does. And she can make a little bit of money sharing it and at least pay for her to be able to send out all kinds of stuff to her customers. Okay. Now, here's number 7 is offer a prepayment reward, right? You can offer a variety of rewards ranging from free products to extra things. Maybe it's a VIP webinar with you if they pay early. Maybe it's an extra workbook that they get. I work with a lot of speakers that do events. And when somebody prepays for the event, some of them send out a swag box. I have a client, her name is Deborah Thorne. She runs a conference called the Leverage Conference. If you buy a ticket before a certain day, she's going to, out of her own dime, by the way, she's going to use that bolt-on service like we just showed you, all right? And she's going to send you a whole really cool box of really, really cool stuff as a way to say thank you. But what that does is it gives her the ability to get a hold of your cash early, right? And that's really the key thing here. Now, maybe they do extra rewards, prepay for stuff. They could receive extra rewards. It keeps them in the mix longer. So let me give you an example. Remember I said that I used to own a craft beer house up in Washington? One of the things that we did was we said to our locals that we knew were coming in all the time. They always came in, every beer, we had thousands of beers on tap. We even had this thing where we had this program where we had these huge refrigerators. And if you were a local and you came in and you said, you know, I really love this beer from Santa Monica, California, we would literally order the beer, bring it to the refrigerator, and then you could come and pick it out. But then I started thinking, you know, they can say that, but what happens if they don't actually come and buy this beer from Santa Monica? So what we did was we started an entire program where we said, hey, we'll order that case of beer for you. We'll store it. We'll put your name on it. You just have to prepay for it. We'll give you a discount of what it is. And now our customers were prepaying for beer that we then held in the refrigerator. It made them feel like a VIP. We put names on it, little stickers with their names on it. When they were with their buddies, they said they had it on stack. We could go back and get it. Everybody won. And here was the other thing that it did for us. When we could batch a bunch of those customers up in pre-buying beer, it gave us volume discounts when we were buying beer from the distributor, which again added cash flow right into our pocket. So we literally had our customers helping us create discounts by prepaying for the beer. Now, we probably should have checked with the alcohol, tobacco, firearms folks and made sure that that was okay. But I no longer own it. Say line, we didn't say the name of it. So one just super easy thing that you can do.
And I believe you can use actually the mail custom gifts to help implement those rewards also. So that's another way you can use that program, not only just for gifts and things to your client base, but actually using it with the reward systems or coupons and things like that.
So I'll tell you a little story because we just did this. So let's see, I'm going to try to do this and not get in trouble. But here's what happened. I put a video on YouTube. Okay. And on YouTube, the video got picked up by the algorithm and it got swept up and it started getting tons of views, literally within a 12-hour period. It was a short, got picked up, right? But there were a few people that didn't like the video. So they hit the thumbs down, right? So if you're on YouTube, click the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. It will really help the YouTube algorithm show this to more people, right? So if you're watching this, please, please, please hit that thumbs up button. But a couple of people on one of the videos hit the thumbs down button. It killed the views literally within minutes, okay? Minutes. So I went to our Platinum Inner Circle members and I put a little post in there and I said, hey, it would really help the YouTube algorithm out if you would go click the like button or leave a comment on that video. And I left the video. 8 people went within a few minutes and put a comment and liked that video. It then got resubmitted into the algorithm and it got started showing by more people, right? So as a reward, I sent all of those 8 people a $5 Starbucks card using mailcustomgifts.com. Went in, I created a really cool card, had all of their addresses, boom, fired it off. I didn't have to go shopping for the card. I didn't have to lick it. I didn't have to stuff it. I didn't have to stamp it. I didn't have to go to the post office and be around other people. I literally got to do it from the comfort of my home on my laptop. Super, super easy. So that's a great way that you can do it. Maybe you do Facebook Lives and you want to give away, one thing I used to give away a lot of are these like little foldable phone holders. Sorry, I just had mine here, right? So your phone sits here like this. It holds up even an iPad. So again, I'm going back to Stu because he's just right in my head. So this is really cool to hold an iPad when you're running recipes. So I have one in the kitchen when we're cooking. I can put the iPad here and it holds the iPad up when we're following directions. So Stu could literally go do a Facebook Live and go, hey, anybody that comments below, I'm going to send you one of these little free phone holders to hold your iPad for your keto recipes, blah, 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 blah. Literally, the system has it already pre-built in. It's pre-set up. So now all he has to do is go input an address, hit send, and go. But the sexiest part is he doesn't even actually have to do that. The whole thing could be so automated that when somebody wins, he literally sends them a link and says, hey, Gabriella, tell me where to send your foldable phone holder. Here's a link. She goes in, fills out her address, hits the submit button. It puts her right into his contact manager inside the system and triggers out that winning prize with a card that's completely personalized to her straight away. So there's a gazillion things that you can do with this. Again, if you're interested, go set up a free trial. Ryan and I will call you. We'll get you on a call and see if it's a good fit. If it isn't, no problem. What do you have to do? Hit the cancel button. It's very simple.
And going back to even some of our previous slides, we were talking about inventory, right? Let's start auditing this stuff. Let's take if you were maybe implementing this strategy, a reward strategy or gift strategy, are you getting thousands of them to get your costs down? Are you having to order in bulk? Are you having to hold them somewhere? So anything. Are you able to maybe pick one of these products that are already there where you can send off, and then that's freeing up cash flow because you're not having to have so much inventory. Maybe you can switch a product out and fulfill it, with something that's in there. And these strategies can help because you can almost get these gifts paid for if you're really using the system, whatever you do. So, that's another reason, one, that we like this, but get creative with it. In the beginning of this, we said, we're really just scratching the surface of a lot of these strategies. And it's really for us to go in as the business owner. If you have some partners with them as well, look at these things and really see where you can dive deep and, exploit these to free up that cash flow. And because obviously with the cash flow, the lifeline, there's so many more things that we can do by doing that. That's why we're doing this presentation. But there's so much great things that we can, that can come off of that. And you may also gain some more relationships, better your relationships, strengthen your relationships by doing so.
Awesome. You guys, we just want to say thank you for joining us. This is a fun little graphic that Ryan made up. That'll get really annoying in about 4 or 5 more slides. You guys, we're super excited. What I'm going to do is I'll drop the link for that mailing service in the video below. If you want to have a conversation about any of these things, or you want to add some extra revenue to your business, I'll also put the link to expandtherevenue.com. That's just a quick, hey, tell me a little bit about your business. And then it'll take you right to my calendar program. We'll jump on a call. And here's my guarantee to you. When you and I spend a little bit of time together, I will give you at least 3 different things that you can do to add revenue to your business. Okay? So that's it, Expand the Revenue. If you are part of our Facebook group, we do weekly networking events. We're here to help you grow and expand the business. So with that, I want to thank you so much for jumping in here with us. I'm going to shut this off, and then we'll go into some Q&A. Let's see if we can fire this off with on YouTube. And I don't know if we can or not. And if we can't, we'll rock and roll.